What's up, guys? Welcome back to Doc's Pop Reviews. We are talking about Most Wanted Treasures, Legends on the Hunt on A&E. It is a brand new series, and last week we talked about episode 1 with Mick Foley, and he was the central character for his 3 characters. Today, we're actually talking about 3 different characters and what they're looking for from them, but they are all tied together. This is episode 2. Undertaker, Paul Bearer, and Kane. This is the review and discussion. Now, Paul Bearer, as most of you know, at least wrestling fans, he has passed away, whereas Undertaker and Kane are still with us, but they are both retired, at least retired at the time that I make this, but they're looking for items from all 3. By the way, last week I said I don't know the guy's name that's going out. He's the field collector. His name is AJ Francis. All right, so I made sure to make note of that this time. But the things that they're looking for are Undertaker's original purple gear, Paul Bearer's betrayal urn, and Kane's original mask. Now, this is a very interesting episode, and it's so different from episode 1. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad episode, but I was expecting every episode to follow suit of episode 1, whereas Mick Foley had to go to 3 different fans in order to acquire the things that he needed. This episode, they're not looking for any fans. Undertaker has it, Kane has it, and then a very good friend of Paul Bearer's has it. So it's just a matter of, will Undertaker part with it? Will Kane part with it? And will Paul Bearer's friend part with it? The other interesting thing about this episode is Kane. They talk about Kane in The Undertaker's very first match, and he was known as the Unabomb, and they have his original mask and gauntlet that Kane, well, Glenn Jacobs, actually made. And I like what he does here. He decides, I'm just not going to give it up. He's not taking money for himself. He wants the money to go to charity. So it's very interesting there. I like that he did that. The funniest thing about this episode was when AJ made the offer on the Unabomb, and then Undertaker and Kane both were like, what? Feeling like he lowballed him, and AJ was sweating. I mean, he's in between 2 legends, and he's in between the Brothers of Destruction, and you could see the sweat just pouring off this guy, and finally he brings it up. However, Kane does not have the debut mask. He actually has the second mask, so they were not able to acquire the first mask. It's still out there somewhere, but $10,000 ends up going to charity, and so that's pretty cool. Then they move on to try to find the urn, which is valued at $10,000, and man, it was really hard. The guy's name was Jason, but the urn was actually at a museum, and Genevieve, the president of the museum, and Jason have a talk, and you can just see Jason's really struggling. I think I would struggle with this too. Like, if I was really good friends with someone from the WWF or WWE universe, and they said, hey, I want you to have this, and then all of a sudden WWE comes looking for it, last week I was talking about if I had some memorabilia, I'd ask for a viewing party and all this kind of stuff. But that's when you're just a fan. This is where you are a friend. I don't know if I could give something up that if my good friend, and especially if they had passed away, that's the kicker. He's gone on. And so you've got this thing that he has left you. He gave it to you. I guess it's one of those things you just got to put in your mind. What would he want you to do? Would he want you to give it so that other fans can enjoy it, or would he want you to keep it? Because other fans do get to still enjoy it because it's a part of a museum, but they do end up trading it for the Paul Bearer suit and a different urn. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you were a friend of a WWE superstar, they gave you something of value just for you, then they pass away, would you give it back to the WWE warehouse? Then, lastly, Undertaker. Undertaker's hilarious. He just has it in his storage room. He also gives up his Phantom mask. And I tell you what, WWE came out ahead on this because Undertaker did not ask for any money for the Phantom mask. He didn't ask for any money for the purple gear. He simply handed it over. So really, the only money that WWE spent was giving it to charity on behalf of Kane, and that's a tax write-off for them. So this episode, WWE really came out ahead. But again, guys, I really want to pose the question, if you, two questions, I guess. If you were a fan and a friend and that person passed away, would you give it up? And if you were a WWE wrestler like The Undertaker, would you give it up? For me, if it was my friend that had passed away, it would be really, really difficult for me to give it up. If I was a wrestler like The Undertaker, I would definitely give it up just like he did. No questions asked here. It belongs to you guys. You gave me an awesome career. No problem. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and have you checked out these episodes. You need to go check it out. A&E Biography. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day, guys.